What are your first impressions? Your first time back in the country in a while, it sounded like earlier.
Yes, I'm very pleased to be in Israel once again. It has been quite a few years that I was not here. I think it was in 2006 that I was here for the first time playing Davis Cup tie against Israel, between Serbia and Israel, in the Ramat HaSharon Stadium. One of the best and loudest atmosphere I ever experienced. Very passionate people for sports here, and it's great to see that, because I like that kind of passion and love that comes in from the people towards sports. And I also visited Jerusalem in my second visit. So, but it has been a while. I forgot many, things that I visited last time. So, hoping that I can have a little bit of time outside of tennis to revisit the important places, and I also enjoy my time here. And of course, this week is mostly about tennis for me, and trying to play well in the tournament, and hopefully I can see also a lot of people coming to watch my matches.
Sounds good. Okay. If you have a question, I ask that you please raise your hand and wait for me to call on you. So we'll go ahead and see who has a question. Okay, we can start here in the front. You have the microphone. Thank you.
Novak, everybody is very excited seeing you here. What was the reason that brought you to play in this tournament?
Well, I missed a couple of big tournaments this year due to some circumstances that were such that didn't allow me to travel. And then I was thinking about the schedule, and because I didn't go to America, so I talked with my team to see what kind of tournaments that I want to play in the schedule, and I was committed to play in Laver Cup in London, and I like to connect 2-3 weeks of tournaments in a row. So Tel Aviv was in a perfect week of schedule for me, and of course as well because I haven't been here for many years, and last time I was here I had a fantastic experience and was very welcomed by people. And I have collaborated also with people from Israel, with my fitness coach, my manager, for many years. So, all of these factors have decided for me to come here.
In the third row on the right, Margarita, you have the mic. Thank you.
Novak, can you tell us a few words about Yoni Ehrlich, the relationship between both of you?
Yeah.
And the reason that you agreed to play doubles with him the last game in his career?
He agreed to play with me.
Okay.
It's the other way around. It's his last tournament, and I didn't know that it's going to be his last tournament where he's going to say goodbye. Of course, I am honored, and I am very happy to be next to him on the court in his last tournament, in front of his people, in his hometown. It could not be a better farewell, and hopefully it's not going to be only one match. We will try to win as many matches as possible and get as far in the tournament as possible. So we are both competitors. We like to win. I know that he's going to go definitely through a lot of different emotions on the court and off the court. And I still haven't seen him here. I arrived yesterday, so tomorrow, hopefully tonight and tomorrow, we'll have a chance to see each other. We'll practice a little bit to prepare for the match, and hope for the best. I'm hoping that fans will fill up the stadium and that they will give him the support that he deserves.
Front row on the left.
These past years, we've talked about it a little bit. It was on and off playing for you due to a lot of reasons. Wanted to ask how you keep your health, both mentally and physically, during those times. It's not regular for an ATP player not to play all the year.
Yes, it's not common. I've been playing, over 20 years of professional tennis, and I've been very fortunate to achieve some great success throughout my career, and my trajectory towards the top of the men's game was mostly going always upwards in the right direction, and I was fortunate to maintain that level over so many years, and played the biggest tournaments and played my best tennis on those tournaments. But the last few years, obviously, I've been Also prioritizing time with family, with my children, and trying to balance things out and pick which tournaments, which sort of say swings of the year I want to be part of, and where I want to play my best tennis and kind of conserve the energy. This year, unfortunately, I missed the two Grand Slams, and those are the tournaments where I want to play, my best tennis that count at this point of my career the most. And it hasn't been that difficult to maintain the physical state and emotional state in a right way. More emotionally, it was challenging because of the circumstances this year that I have been experiencing and I have been encountering that I never encountered before in my life. But physically, actually, my body has been thankful to have a bit longer time without grueling competition weeks that, of course, take away a lot of energy. So I was able to maintain my body in a right shape. And yeah, I will see how it feels on the court. The downside of not playing so much is that you don't have as many competitive matches. The more matches you have, the more comfortable you feel to compete. So my last match, other than Laver Cup a few days ago, was almost 3 months ago. So, I'm looking forward to compete here and hopefully have a deep run in the tournament.
All right, in front, Misha.
Djokovic, we just read a quote from you saying, allegedly you said that as long as Rafa is playing, he's your rival on the ATP Tour. And who is your main rival here at the Watergen Open? And do you confirm that Rafa is your #1 rival as long as he's playing?
Well, everyone is my rival. Whoever I step out on the court against is my rival, and I want to win against him. But when it comes to who is my biggest rival, it's Nadal, without a doubt. He's still there. We played the most matches against each other of any other rivalry in the history of tennis. So, the rivalry is very special, and it keeps going. Hopefully we'll get a chance to play against each other more times, because I think it's exciting for us, but also for the tennis fans and sport fans around the world. So yeah, you have Alcaraz, of course, that is now #1 in the world, a Grand Slam winner, that is the leader of that younger generation. And you have, of course, Medvedev, Tsitsipas, Zverev, Rublev, these guys who have been already established at the top of the men's game for a while. So it's a natural cycle. Things change. They transform to some other players, the responsibilities of carrying the game, the new leaders. And I think it's something that is normal to expect that would eventually happen. But we are not giving up that easy. Nadal and myself, we still are trying to go strong.
Mr. Djokovic, you spoke about missing 2 slams this year. How is it like to being such a competitive player and watching those slams at home? And if you could please tell us a little bit about the situation of your wrist that you struggled with last week.
Well, I'll answer about the wrist first. Today I practiced, for almost 2 hours, and it was okay. So I'm feeling good. I'm happy that mini injury is now behind me. I'm hoping everything, knock on wood, stays the way I want it to stay for the tournament. And yeah, it's never really easy to watch the competitive matches and the Grand Slams, knowing that you have been ready and preparing to go there and play. But it's kind of a situation that I have to accept, because I made a decision, and these are the consequences of that decision, and I'm completely fine with that.
Take 2 more. Go ahead.
Hello, Mr. Djokovic. I prepared 15 questions, but I only have a chance to ask one.
Okay.
If you had to say the keys to your great success over the years, how would you define them?
Well, there isn't one secret or one key that solves all the problems. It's a combination of things and factors that are elements that are part of your character, part of your environment, the way you grow up, who you are, how you train, what's your lifestyle, that create one big, so to say, whole image of success. And that formula has worked for me, but I have been constantly changing and innovating also myself, because I don't believe in stagnation. There is either regression or progression, so I try to be on the progression side. And more so also in the last couple of years, because the youngsters are coming up, like Alcaraz, for example, that are full of adrenaline, full of power, full of motivation to lead the game, to win the best tournaments, in the biggest tournaments in the world. So you have to constantly innovate yourself and figure out what you have to improve and how to get yourself on a higher level in order to sustain and the pressure that is coming from these guys, and to be able to compete for the biggest tournaments.
Final question, guy, right in the middle.
Novak, thank you. You were a member of the Laver Cup team this weekend, seeing Roger retire. Was this a chance for you to also think about your future? You're obviously still at the top of your form, but under what circumstances would you like to end your career? Is it just up to the number of Grand Slams? And also a few words about Roger.
Yes, well, first I'll say a few things about Roger. I mean, I have tremendous respect for him, everything that he has contributed to our sport on and off the court. It has been an epic career that he can be proud of, and all his closest people in his life. He has left a legacy and mark that will be eternal, really, for our sport. He has transcended the tennis. He is one of the most recognized athletes of all time. So it is a sad moment for tennis to see Roger say goodbye. But if I think he imagined a better scenario of saying goodbye, he probably wouldn't be able to think of a better one. I mean, as he said on the court, having his greatest rivals on the court with him, having his family, his team, his friends, and being in London, one of the most important tennis cities that we have in our sport. Yeah, it was just a very touching, very emotional moment. And when I was on the court as well and seeing his kids and his family, it got me emotional as well. And I, also, I must say, was thinking about how it would look for me, when I say goodbye to the tennis. And there is definitely one thing that I would wish is to have, other than, of course, than the people that are my family and the close people in my life. I would love to have my biggest rivals and competitors there, because it added something more special. It added more importance to that moment. And what was the first question? Sorry.
What's your goals? Is it just about the number of Grand Slams, or what do you want to achieve?
No, look, I achieved. Luckily for me, I was really fortunate to be healthy and be very successful throughout my career. So I achieved, pretty much everything that you can achieve in our sport. But I still have hunger, and I still have love and passion for the game. I still love training and practicing and getting up and doing my chores and doing all the routines and rituals that allow me to still be able to compete on the highest professional level. So, of course, Grand Slams and the biggest events in the ATP Tour are the ones that count the most. Playing for my country is something that deeply fulfills me. So as long as there's that flair and motivation inside of me, I'll keep going. I don't have really a number of years in my head when I want to stop, or tournaments, how many more tournaments I want to play. So I'll just keep going. Thank you.
Thank you, Novak. Thank you, everyone. I'll ask that you please stay seated as we exit. Thank you for that.
Okay. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Thank you.